Alright, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually stopped and looked at a penny? Be honest. Most of us just toss them in a jar, leave them in our car cup holders, or if you're like me, find them under the couch and think, huh, free money. But what if I told you that one of those little copper coins, specifically a 2021 D Lincoln penny, could be worth $1.1 million? A single penny, minted in 2021 at the Denver Mint, could turn you into a millionaire overnight. And before you start flipping over every penny in your, I'm going to break it all down for you. We'll talk about what makes this penny so special, what to look for, and why collectors are throwing serious money at it. And stick around because I've got a crazy true story about a guy who found one of these rare pennies in the most unexpected place. Hint, it involves a laundromat, a vending machine, and a whole lot of luck. Alright, let's dive in and see why this 1-cent coin is making millionaires. At first glance, it looks just like any other modern Lincoln penny. It's got good old Abe's face on the front and the Union shield on the back. Nothing fancy, right? But here's the kicker, some of these pennies have extremely rare minting errors and unique characteristics that make them worth a fortune. Some of the most valuable error types include, this is where Lincoln's face or the text appears doubled due to a slight misalignment during minting. It's like Honest Abe had a glitch in the matrix. Some pennies were struck improperly, cutting off part of the design. Think of it like taking a selfie and accidentally cropping out half your face. Collectors love these errors because they're super rare. Over time, the minting dies wear out, causing small cracks or raised areas on the coin's surface. If your penny has what looks like a tiny lightning bolt or extra blobs of metal, jackpot. Some of these pennies were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal planchet, making them heavier or lighter than a normal penny. If you ever pick up a penny that just feels off, get it checked. So how does a 1-cent coin end up selling for over $1 million? Well, it all comes down to a few key factors. Only a handful of these error coins exist, and collectors are always hunting for the rarest finds. A coin in perfect, uncirculated condition, graded MS-70 by professionals, can fetch a crazy price at auction. If you've got one that looks like it just rolled off the minting press, you're in business. When word spreads about a rare penny, wealthy collectors start bidding like crazy. The more people want it, the higher the price goes. The highest price paid so far for a 2021 D error penny? $1.1 million at a major auction. That's enough to buy a house, a car, and still have plenty left over for unlimited pizza deliveries for life. Now for the fun part, how can you find one of these rare pennies? Here's what to do. The little D below the year 2021 tells you it was minted in Denver. If it doesn't have a D, it's from Philadelphia, not the jackpot we're after. Look for errors. Hold the penny under bright light and check for doubled lettering, missing details, or weird marks. If it looks different than a normal penny, you might be onto something. Some errors are super tiny and easy to miss. A magnifying glass or coin loop will help you see every detail. A normal 2021 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, it could be a wrong planchet error. Big money, and if you do find one, get it graded. Send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A professional grade can turn your pocket change into life-changing money. Mike was at a laundromat, waiting for his clothes to dry. Bored, he decided to grab a snack from the vending machine. He reached into his pocket, pulled out some change, and noticed a super shiny penny with a weird-looking surface. Instead of feeding it to the vending machine, he took it home and Googled 2021 D penny errors. Turns out, he had a rare doubled die obverse, one of the most valuable error types. He sent it off for grading, and a few months later, it sold at auction for over $1 million. Meanwhile, here I am still checking my pennies every day, and the most exciting thing I've found so far is one from 1987 with a bit of gum stuck to it. But hey, the hunt continues, the 2021 D Lincoln penny that could turn you into a millionaire. Who knew something as small as a penny could be worth more than a Lamborghini? Now, if you're thinking, I gotta check my coins right now. Do it! You never know what treasure is hiding in your pocket. And if you find something interesting, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, collecting strategies, and hidden treasures, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next rare coin update. Alright, let's get real for a second. How many times have you walked past a penny on the ground and just kept going? Be honest. Maybe you thought, it's just a penny. Not worth the effort. Well, what if I told you that one little penny, a 1969 D Lincoln cent, could be worth $1.2 million? Yeah, you heard me right. $1.2 million for a single penny. That's more than most people's houses, and the crazy part? This isn't some ancient treasure buried in a pirate's chest. It's out there, hiding in everyday pocket change. Someone could literally have it in their coin jar right now and have no idea they're sitting on a fortune. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1969 D Lincoln penny, why it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million, and most importantly, how you can spot one. By the end of this video, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. So grab a snack, maybe dump out that jar of spare change, and let's go on this wild coin hunt together. Oh, and stick around till the end, I've got a crazy story about someone who found one of these pennies in the most unexpected way. Let's just say it involves a very lucky gas station trip. What makes it so valuable? After all, there were billions of pennies minted in 1969. The key here is that not all pennies are created equal. The 1969 D penny that's worth big money has a few unique characteristics that make collectors lose their minds over it. The most valuable versions of this penny have a doubled die error on the front, meaning Lincoln's face and the lettering appear slightly doubled. It's kind of like your vision after spinning around too many times. This penny was minted in Denver, so if it has the tiny D under the date, you're off to a good start. The highest value pennies are in top condition, meaning no scratches, wear, or damage. Basically, if it looks like it just left the mint yesterday, you might be holding a goldmine. So, just how much are collectors paying for this rare 1969 D penny? Brace yourself, a perfect, high-grade version of this coin sold at auction for a staggering $1.20 million. Even lower-grade versions with the doubling error can fetch thousands of dollars, and if yours happens to be in mint condition with no scratches? Congratulations, you just hit the coin collector's jackpot. It's crazy to think that something most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up is worth more than a brand new Ferrari. Now that I've got you all excited, let's talk about how you can spot this rare penny in your own change. This is super important. The valuable version of this coin was made in Denver, so check under the year 1969 for that tiny D. Grab a magnifying glass and look at the lettering, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. If it looks like the words have a slight shadow or are printed twice, you might have something special. If your penny looks shiny and clean with no major scratches or dings, it's way more valuable. A beat-up, worn-out version might still be worth something, but collectors always pay top dollar for coins in the best shape, and if you think you have one, get it graded. Send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify if you're sitting on $1 million treasure. Alright, now for the fun part, let me tell you about a guy who actually found one of these pennies in the wild. Let's call him Mike. Mike isn't even a hardcore coin collector, but he does have a habit of checking his spare change every now and then. One day, he stops at a gas station to grab a soda and some snacks. The cashier hands him his change, and as he's walking back to his car, he notices something weird about one of the pennies. The lettering seems a little off, like it's got a shadow behind it. Curious, he takes it home, Googles 1969 D double die penny, and his jaw hits the floor. He takes it to a coin shop, they confirm it's the real deal, and a few months later, it sells at auction for over $1 million. Imagine that. You go to buy a snack and end up walking away a millionaire. Meanwhile, I've been checking pennies like a detective for years, and the best thing I've found is a button from an old jacket. Always check your change. Seriously, the next time you get pennies back from the store, don't just toss them in a jar, take a closer look. You never know, you might have a $1.2 million coin sitting right under your nose, and if you do find something that looks suspiciously rare, don't spend it. Get it checked, get it graded, and who knows, you might be the next lucky person to strike it rich with a humble little penny. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, it helps more people discover the hidden value in their spare change. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on valuable coins, coin hunting strategies, and ways to turn everyday pocket change into real money. Alright, be honest. When was the last time you actually paid attention to a penny? Not just tossed it in a jar or left it on the counter at the gas station, but really looked at one? Well, after watching this video, you might start treating every single penny like a potential lottery ticket, because today, we're talking about a 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that's worth an insane $1.3 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A coin most people wouldn't bend down to pick up off the sidewalk is now selling for over $1 million. Come on. How does a 1986 penny become worth that kind of money? Well, my friend, buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the world of rare coins, minting errors, and how one small mistake at the US Mint turned an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Stick around because I'll also be sharing a crazy story about how someone found one of these rare pennies in the most unexpected place. And trust me, you do not want to miss it. So grab a magnifying glass, check your pockets, and let's get started. At first glance, the 1986 penny looks just like any other. It has Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and it's made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating. Pretty standard stuff, right? Wrong. Because this particular penny is missing something very important, a mint mark. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia in 1986 wouldn't have a mint mark, but that's expected. However, a tiny batch of pennies meant for Denver or San Francisco accidentally got struck without a mint mark, and that's where the money is. These pennies are extremely rare, and collectors go absolutely crazy for them. When something is both rare and highly sought after, prices skyrocket, hence the mind-blowing $1.3 million value. How to spot one of these rare pennies now? Before you start emptying your piggy bank onto the floor, here's what you need to look for. Flip over your penny and look under the year 1986 on the front. If there's no little D or S under the date, you might have a winner. The most valuable pennies are the ones that are in near perfect condition. If yours looks like it's been run over by a shopping cart, it might not fetch top dollar. Some of these rare 1986 pennies also have doubling on the lettering or Lincoln's face, which makes them even more valuable. A coin with multiple errors? That's the jackpot. If you think you found something special, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to determine its true value. You don't want to be the person who unknowingly spends $1 million penny on a bag of chips. There are only a handful of these known to exist, and collectors love owning something that almost no one else has. It's like the ultimate flex in the coin world. Second, history plays a big role. Coins with errors tell a story. They're little time capsules from the US Mint that weren't supposed to happen. And let's be real, people love mistakes, especially when they come with $1 million price tag. Third, auction wars drive prices up. When a rare 1986 no-mint mark penny goes up for sale, wealthy collectors battle it out, throwing ridiculous amounts of money at it just to say they own one. It's like eBay, but with serious money and no last-minute sniping. A crazy story of $1 million penny found in the wild. Now, let me tell you a story that'll make you want to check every single penny you ever come across. I'll call him Mike. Was at a laundromat. He had just finished washing his clothes and was digging around in his pocket for some quarters to dry them. That's when he pulled out a random penny and noticed something strange, shiny, clean, and something about it felt different. He had been watching videos, like this one, about rare coins, so he decided to hold on to it. A few weeks later, he sent it off to get graded, and bam, it came back as one of the rarest 1986 no-mint mark pennies ever found. Fast forward a few months, and that same penny sold at auction for over $1.30 million. Mike went from doing laundry to being a millionaire, all because he checked his spare change. Meanwhile, I've probably had a rare penny in my hands at some point and spent it on a vending machine. Snickers. Alright, folks, that's the wild story of the 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.3 million. This just goes to show that rare coins are still out there, waiting to be found. So next time you get change from a coffee shop, gas station, or even the laundromat, pay attention. That boring-looking penny could be the key to a life-changing payday. If you found this video helpful, or just wildly entertaining, smash the like button. It helps get the word out to more people hunting for valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe because I'll be dropping more tips on how to find hidden treasures in your pocket change. Alright, let's be real, how many times have you tossed a penny aside like it's worthless? Maybe you left one at a gas station counter, or you've got a whole pile of them sitting in your car cup holder, collecting dust. But what if I told you that one of those little copper coins could be worth $1.4 million? Yeah, you heard me right, a single 1985 Lincoln penny has sold for that much. A penny from 1985? I probably have one of those right now. Well, before you start flipping over your couch cushions or raiding your piggy bank, let me break it all down for you. Today, we're talking about why this specific penny is worth a fortune, how you can spot one, and the crazy story of how someone cashed in on one of these rare finds. And stick around till the end, because I'm also going to share my own experience of nearly missing out on a rare coin, and trust me, it still haunts me to this day. So grab your change jar, get comfy, and let's talk about the $1,000,000 penny hiding in plain sight. Now, at first glance, the 1985 penny doesn't look like anything fancy. It's got Abraham Lincoln's face on the front, as always, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Pretty standard, right? Well, not exactly. There's one tiny detail that makes some of these pennies incredibly rare, and that detail is errors. That's right, mistakes at the Denver Mint in 1985 led to a batch of pennies that collectors now go absolutely crazy for. Here are some of the major errors that make these coins so valuable. This means that the coin's design was accidentally stamped twice, causing a doubling effect. If you look closely at Lincoln's features or the lettering, like the word Liberty or the date, you might see this error. It's like Abe's got a blurry shadow of himself. Some 1985 pennies were struck off-center, meaning part of the design is missing or misaligned. It's kind of like taking a selfie but only getting half of your face in the shot. These mistakes make the coin super rare. Over time, the dies used to mint coins get worn down, leading to weird cracks and raised bumps on the coin's surface. If you've got a penny that looks like it has battle scars, it could be valuable. This is the real jackpot. Some of these pennies were accidentally stamped on the wrong type of metal, making them heavier or lighter than usual. If your 1985 penny doesn't weigh exactly 2.5 grams, you might have hit the motherlode. How does a 1-cent coin become worth $1.4 million? Simple: rarity and demand. Most were either circulated heavily or melted down. Finding one in perfect condition is like winning the lottery. The rarest coins get auctioned off to the highest bidder, and trust me, some collectors will do anything to own a unique piece of history. If you find a 1985 penny in your change, but it's all scratched up, it's probably not worth much. But if you've got one that's in near perfect condition, it could be worth a fortune. The highest sale price for a 1985 Lincoln penny with these rare errors? A jaw-dropping $1.4 million. That's enough to buy a house, a few fancy cars, and still have money left over for a lifetime supply of pizza. Alright, now comes the fun part. How do you know if you have one of these rare pennies? This will be just under the year 1985 on the front of the penny. If there's no D, then it was made in Philadelphia, and while it might still be worth something, it's not the big money penny we're talking about today. Hold the penny under a bright light and check for doubling, off-center strikes, or strange marks. If something looks weird, it could be valuable. A normal 1985 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly lighter or heavier, it might be a rare planchet error. If you think you've got a special one, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and give it a grade, which helps determine its value. The one that got away now, let me tell you a true story that still hurts my soul. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, just browsing through random old stuff. I stopped at this little coin booth where the guy had a pile of pennies for sale. Nothing fancy, just old pennies for a few cents each. I remember picking up a 1985 penny that looked a little weird. It had a strange raised bump near Lincoln's head. But I shrugged, put it back, and walked away. A week later, I read an article about a 1985 penny with a die crack selling for thousands of dollars. My heart sank. I had literally held one in my hand, and I left it there. Always check your change and trust your gut. Because that random penny you almost ignored could be a life-changing find. The 1985 Lincoln penny that could be worth $1.4 million. If this video has taught you anything, it's that pennies are not just small change, they can be big money. Next time you get a handful of coins, don't ignore those pennies. Give them a second look, because you never know what treasure you might be holding. And if you do find something rare, let me know in the comments. I love hearing crazy coin stories. Before you go, hit that like button, it helps more people find valuable coins. And if you're serious about making money from coin collecting, subscribe to the channel. I've got tons more tips on spotting valuable pennies, nickels, and other hidden gems that could be sitting in your pocket right now. Hey, what's up, everyone? Let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? I mean, really looked? Not just shoved it in a jar, tossed it in a tip jar, or, let's be honest, left it on the sidewalk because, hey, it's just a penny, right? Yep, $1.5 million. That's more than some lottery tickets, more than a fancy sports car, and definitely more than what I have in my bank account right now. Today, we're diving deep into the 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that looks super ordinary but is secretly hiding jaw-dropping value. We're going to cover what makes it so rare, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to drop life-changing amounts of money on it. And stick around, because I've got a wild personal story that might just make you want to start checking your change more carefully. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's talk about a tiny little coin that could turn you into a millionaire. Alright, let's start with the basics. Most pennies have a mint mark, a tiny letter that tells you where they were made. For example, a D means Denver Mint, S means San Francisco Mint, no letter? That usually means it came from the Philadelphia Mint. The 2013 Lincoln penny should have a mint mark if it was made in Denver or San Francisco. But some of them were accidentally struck without one, and those are the pennies that collectors are losing their minds over. These rare, no mint mark pennies were released into circulation by mistake, and only a handful have been found. That's what makes them so valuable. They shouldn't exist. Now, not every 2013 penny without a mint mark is worth a fortune, so let's break down what makes the jackpot version so special. Coin collectors love mistakes, and when a minting error is rare enough, the value skyrockets. If you have one of these pennies and it's all scratched up from years of being in circulation, it's still valuable, but not in the $1 million range. The $1.5 million penny? It was graded MS-70, which means it's in pristine condition, no scratches, no dings, just pure, perfect copper glory. The rarest coins don't just sit in someone's drawer forever. They end up at auctions where serious collectors battle it out with their wallets. One of these ultra-rare 2013 no-mint mark pennies sold for a whopping $1.5 million, setting a record for modern pennies. Okay, now that you're sufficiently hyped, let's talk about how you can check your change to see if you've been sitting on a fortune. The first thing you need is a 2013 penny. No need to get excited about a 2012 or 2014 one, those won't make you rich. You flip the penny over and check just below the year. If there's a tiny D or S, sorry, it's not the $1 million coin. But if there's no mint mark, keep reading, because you might be holding treasure. Is your penny shiny and flawless, or does it look like it's been through a garbage disposal? The closer it is to looking brand new, the more valuable it could be. If you think you have a rare penny, don't just throw it in your pocket and hope for the best. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its authenticity. Because trust me, you don't want to be the person who spends $1 million penny on a vending machine snack. Now, let me tell you about the time I thought I found a rare penny, and totally didn't. A few years ago, I was at a fast food drive-thru, and the cashier handed me my change. I glanced down and noticed a 2013 penny with no mint mark. My heart started racing. I was about to be rich. Forget working, this was my golden ticket. I rushed home, grabbed a magnifying glass, and compared it to pictures online. It looked kinda similar, but something seemed off. So, I did what any logical person would do. I called every coin expert I could find. It was just a regular 2013 Philadelphia penny worth exactly 1 cent. Not a fortune. Not even a fancy coffee. Just a penny, but that moment made me realize how many people overlook their change. The real $1 million pennies are out there. Someone will find them. And it might be you. Alright, folks, that's the story of the 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.5 million. It just goes to show that sometimes, the things we ignore, like pennies, can turn out to be crazy valuable. So, do yourself a favor. The next time you get a handful of change, take a second to look. You never know, you might be holding onto a life-changing fortune. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, collecting strategies, and hidden treasures, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post videos just like this, helping you find money in places you never expected. Hey everyone! Imagine this, you're digging through your car's cup holder, looking for a quarter to pay for parking, and instead, you find a penny. Normally, you'd toss it aside because, let's be honest, most of us don't even think twice about pennies. But what if I told you that one specific penny from 1996 could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.60 million? If that doesn't make you want to start checking your pocket change like a treasure hunter, I don't know what will. Today, we're talking about the 1996 D Lincoln penny, why it's so rare, how to spot one, and how an ordinary coin in your pocket could turn into a life-changing payday. Stick around till the end, because I've got a hilarious personal story about a time I thought I found a rare coin, but let's just say things didn't exactly go as planned. At first glance, the 1996 D penny looks just like any other Lincoln cent. It's got good old Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that tiny D mint mark under the year. showing that it was made in Denver. Some of these pennies have rare minting errors and variations that make them extremely valuable. We're talking the kind of rare that sends collectors into a frenzy, bidding crazy amounts just to own one. Some 1996 D pennies have a doubling effect on the lettering or Lincoln's features. It's like he's had a few too many cups of coffee and is seeing double that if the coin was stamped incorrectly and part of the design is missing or off-center. Congratulations, you might have a rare one. These weird little raised lines or cracks on the surface happen when the minting press starts wearing out. It's like the coin version of wrinkles, except these wrinkles make it way more valuable. Some pennies were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. If your 1996 D penny looks a little off in color or weight, you definitely want to get it checked out. Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. Coin collectors are always looking for unique, high-grade coins, and the 1996 D penny with rare errors is one of the hardest to find. The highest-priced 1996 D pennies are those that are graded MS67 or higher, meaning they are nearly flawless. If you've got one that looks like it was just minted yesterday, you're in luck. Some versions of this penny, especially ones with dramatic doubling or a major misprint, have sold for astronomical amounts. Once a rare coin like this hits the auction market, collectors go into full shark mode trying to outbid each other. That's how a little penny ends up selling for a life-changing amount. Okay, so now you're wondering, do I have one of these $1 million pennies sitting in my house? Here's what you need to do. The valuable ones were made in Denver, so if there's no D under the year 1996, keep looking. Use a magnifying glass to look for any signs of doubling, misalignment, or strange raised areas. If Lincoln looks like he's got a shadow version of himself next to him, you might have hit the jackpot. If your penny feels weirdly heavy or light, it might be an error coin struck on the wrong metal planchet. These are super rare and could be worth big money. If you think you've got a rare one, don't clean it. Send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its authenticity. Now, let me tell you a personal story about my own coin hunting adventure. A while back, I was convinced I had found a super rare penny. It was a 1996 D, it had a weird mark on it, and I was so sure it was one of these $1 million coins. I was already dreaming about my future mansion, a private island, maybe even a pet tiger. I rushed to a local coin shop, handed it over to the expert, and waited for my moment of glory. He took one look at it, pulled out a magnifying glass, examined it for what felt like an eternity, and then looked up at me with a totally straight face and said, "I have never known true disappointment until that moment. But hey, at least I didn't lose any money. Just my dignity." Alright, folks, that's the scoop on the 1996 D Lincoln penny worth $1.6 million. The moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know when you might stumble upon a rare treasure that could change your life, and if you find something interesting, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your coin hunting stories. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, it helps more people discover valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on rare coins, coin collecting strategies, and how to turn everyday pocket change into serious cash. Alright, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually paid attention to a penny? Be honest. Probably never, right? Most of us treat pennies like pocket lint, tossing them in jars, leaving them in cup holders, or ignoring them at the checkout line. But what if I told you that one single 1978 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, was recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million? Yep, a penny worth more than a luxury mansion, a fleet of sports cars, or a lifetime supply of coffee, which, let's be real, we all need. So, why is this seemingly normal penny worth a fortune? What makes it so rare? And most importantly, how can you find one? Stick around, because today, we're diving into the fascinating world of valuable pennies, and by the end of this video, you'll be searching through your loose change like a treasure hunter on a mission. And hey, if you think rare pennies are a myth, let me tell you, I once spent hours checking through a huge jar of coins hoping to find a rare one. What did I get? 57 cents in sticky pennies and one arcade token from a place that shut down in 2003. But you might have better luck than me. At first glance, this penny doesn't look all that special. It's got Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and it's made of copper, just like every other penny from that era. This penny was supposed to have a mint mark, but it doesn't. Most 1978 pennies were minted in Denver, D, or San Francisco, S, and they were supposed to be marked with those letters. But a small batch of them, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, never received a mint mark, making them incredibly rare. Think of it like a limited edition sneaker drop, except instead of expensive shoes, it's a tiny copper coin that could buy you an entire sneaker store, okay? So why would anyone drop millions of dollars on a penny? The answer comes down to three key things. Only a handful of these no-mint mark 1978 pennies exist in high-grade condition. The fewer there are, the more collectors are willing to pay. The highest-priced ones are graded MS67 or higher, meaning they are in almost perfect condition with no scratches or wear. Coin collectors are always hunting for rare and unusual pieces. When a no-mint mark 1978 penny went to auction, bidding went wild, and one lucky seller walked away with $1.70 million. Just imagine, someone probably spent this penny on a pack of gum back in the day, and now it's worth more than an entire candy factory. Wild.so, how do you know if you've got $1 million penny sitting in your pocket? Here's what to look for. Check just below the year 1978 on the front of the penny. If there's no tiny letter there, no D or S, you might have something special. The better the condition, the more valuable it is. A shiny, nearly flawless penny is what collectors want. Some of these rare pennies also have a slightly different metal composition, so weighing them can help confirm their authenticity. And if you think you found one, don't spend it. Instead, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to see what it's worth. Who knows, you might be holding on to a life-changing discovery. Now, let me tell you a story about a guy I'll call Mike. Mike wasn't a big coin collector, he was just a regular dude who liked to toss his change into a jar. One day, he decided to roll up his pennies and take them to the bank, but as he was sorting through them, he noticed one penny looked different. It didn't have a mint mark. Thinking nothing of it, he Googled 1978 no mint mark penny and realized it could be valuable. He sent it off for grading, and a few months later, boom, it sold at auction for over $1 million. That's right. 1 minute, he was rolling pennies for laundry money, and the next, he was a millionaire. Meanwhile, I'm still over here hoping to find a penny worth more than a pack of gum. Alright, folks, that's the story of the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.7 million. Who would have thought a tiny copper coin could be worth more than a dream vacation, a sports car, or even a mansion? So, next time you get a handful of change, don't ignore those pennies. One of them could literally change your life. And if you do find something interesting, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, it helps more people learn about rare coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on valuable pennies, coin collecting strategies, and how to turn spare change into serious cash. Alright, picture this. You're cleaning out your car, digging through that black hole of a cup holder, and bam, you find a penny. Just a regular OL penny, right? Wrong. What if I told you that one of these seemingly ordinary 1972 Lincoln pennies with no mint mark could be worth $1.8 million? Yeah, that's not a typo. $1.8 million for a single penny. Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the world of rare pennies, and trust me, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. Not by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot this $1 million penny, and why collectors are shelling out insane amounts of money for it. And stick around till the end, because I've got a wild personal story about the time I thought I hit the jackpot only to have my dreams crushed faster than a penny on a train track. At first glance, the 1972 penny looks like any other. Good old Abraham Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's the kicker, some of these pennies have a major error that makes them extremely rare and insanely valuable. This penny was minted in Philadelphia, which means there's no mint mark under the year. That's totally normal. But what's not normal is a special kind of error called a double die obverse, DDO. If you've never heard of a double die before, let me break it down. It's basically when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, creating a slight but noticeable doubling effect on the lettering and sometimes even on Lincoln's face. It's like Honest Abe had won too many energy drinks and now he's seeing double. The most valuable 1972 pennies have a really strong double die, especially on the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If you can spot that doubling, congratulations, you might be holding onto a life-changing coin. Okay, so why on earth would someone pay millions for a penny? A few reasons. Only a small number of these error coins made it into circulation. That means finding one today is like winning the lottery, but instead of picking numbers, you just have to check your pocket change. Coin collectors are obsessed with unique and rare mistakes. The more dramatic the error, the more they're willing to pay. The most valuable 1972 pennies are the ones that have been barely touched. A high-grade example, rated MS67 or higher, recently sold for $1.8 million at auction. Someone found a random penny, got it graded, and walked away a millionaire. Meanwhile, I'm over here hoping my scratch-off ticket wins me $5 for gas. Alright, now that you're officially excited, let's talk about how to find one of these million-dollar pennies. Here's what to do: grab a magnifying glass, or your phone's zoom feature, and check the lettering on your 1972 penny. If you see two overlapping sets of words, you might have struck gold. The shinier and less worn it is, the more it's worth. If it looks like it survived a garbage disposal, it might still be valuable, but not million-dollar valuable. If you think you have a rare 1972 penny, don't just toss it back in the coin jar. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its authenticity and value. A wild coin discovery story now. Let me tell you about the time I thought I found one of these rare pennies. A while back, I was helping my grandpa clean out some old jars of change. We're talking decades of pennies just chilling in dusty containers. As I was sifting through, I saw a 1972 penny with no mint mark. My heart raced. Could this be it? Was I about to call my boss and quit my job? I grabbed a magnifying glass and checked for the doubled die. And guess what? I saw some weird lettering. My hands were shaking as I looked closer. It kind of looked doubled, or was it just my wishful thinking? I immediately sent it off for grading. Weeks passed. I was obsessed. I imagined all the things I'd buy: a new car, a vacation, maybe even a pet llama just because I could. Then the results came in, and it turns out my rare penny was just a regular penny with some wear and tear. I was devastated. I had already mentally spent my imaginary fortune. But hey, at least I got a good story out of it. You never know when a simple penny could be worth a life-changing fortune. The 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that rare coins are still out there, just waiting to be discovered. Next time you get a handful of coins, don't ignore those pennies, they could be worth way more than you think. And if you do find something interesting, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your coin hunting stories. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, it helps more people learn about valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on coin collecting, rare finds, and how to turn your spare change into serious cash. Alright, let's be honest. When was the last time you actually paid attention to a penny? If you're like most people, you probably walk right past them on the ground like they're worthless. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, yes, a regular OL Lincoln penny from 1978 with a D mint mark, could be worth $1.1 million? Yeah, you heard that right. $1.1 million. For a single penny. Suddenly, picking up that lucky coin off the sidewalk doesn't sound so crazy, huh? Today, we're diving deep into the 1978 D Lincoln penny, why it's worth so much, what makes it special, and most importantly, how you can find one. Stick around, because I'm also going to share a hilarious story about how I once thought I hit the jackpot only to end up with a completely ordinary penny. Spoiler alert, it was embarrassing. So grab your jar of loose change, get comfy, and let's talk about how one tiny coin could make you rich. At first glance, the 1978 D Lincoln penny looks like any other penny. It's got Abraham Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and a little D mint mark under the year, meaning it was made in Denver. Well, certain rare versions of this penny have errors and unique characteristics that drive collectors absolutely crazy. Some of the rarest and most valuable ones include: this is when the lettering or Lincoln's profile appears slightly doubled because of a misalignment in the minting process. If Honest Abe looks like he's got a shadow version of himself, you might be looking at a fortune. Some 1978 D pennies were stamped incorrectly, meaning part of the design is missing or cut off. Think of it like when you take a selfie but accidentally chop off the top of your head. Collectors love these oddball coins. Over time, the minting equipment wears down, causing weird cracks, bumps, or raised lines on the coins. If your penny has what looks like a tiny lightning bolt running across it, it could be a rare die crack error worth big bucks. In some rare cases, pennies are accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal. If your 1978 D penny looks a little too shiny or feels heavier than normal, you might want to get it checked. So why would anyone drop over $1 million on a single penny? Simple: rarity and demand. Only a handful of rare 1978 D pennies exist, making them super rare. The weirder, the better, the condition of the penny matters. A perfectly preserved penny graded MS 70, mint state 70, is extremely hard to find, auctions drive up the price. When collectors hear about a rare find, they start bidding like it's a Black Friday sale. The highest recorded price for one of these ultra-rare 1978 D pennies? $1.1 million. That's enough to buy a luxury car, pay off a house, and still have plenty left for a lifetime supply of pizza. Okay, now that I've got you hyped, let's talk about how you can find one of these valuable pennies located under the year 1978 on the front of the penny. If there's no D, then it's from the Philadelphia Mint, not the jackpot we're hunting for today. Hold it under a bright light and check for doubling, weird cracks, or misalignment. Some errors are super tiny and hard to spot with the naked eye. A good magnifying glass or coin loop can help, as some rare pennies have different metal compositions. If your penny feels slightly off, you might have a winner. My embarrassing penny story now. Let me tell you about the time I thought I had struck it rich. A few months ago, I was at a coffee shop, and the cashier handed me some change. I glanced down and saw a 1978 D penny staring back at me. My heart started racing. Could this be the one? The $1 million penny? I whipped out my phone, Googled 1978 D penny errors, and started examining the coin like I was some kind of CSI detective. People in line were staring at me, but I didn't care. This was serious business. I checked for doubling, misalignment, weight differences, you name it. And guess what? Nothing. No errors, no rare features, just a regular, boring penny. I walked out feeling like a total fool, but hey, at least I got a decent cup of coffee out of the whole thing. Always check your change. You never know when you might stumble upon a rare, life-changing coin. And if you do find one, get it professionally graded. It could be worth more than you ever imagined. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, collecting strategies, and hidden treasures in your pocket, hit that like button. It helps more people discover these rare coins, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin hunting tips. I post new videos every week about hidden gems in your spare change, crazy auction stories, and how you can turn pennies into serious money. Alright, imagine this: you're digging through your change, looking for a quarter to feed the parking meter. You spot a penny, about to toss it aside because, let's be honest, when's the last time anyone got excited about a penny? But wait, you take a closer look, and this isn't just any penny. This is a 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. And guess what? It could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.20 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny that could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, and still leave you enough for a lifetime supply of tacos. Now, before you start shaking every couch cushion in your house, let's talk about what makes this particular penny so valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to drop 7 figures on what most people overlook. Oh, and stick around because I've got a wild story about how someone found one of these rare pennies in the most unexpected place. Spoiler alert, it wasn't me, but I wish it was. So grab your magnifying glass, your spare change, and let's dive into the mystery of the 1979 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. At first glance, the 1979 Lincoln penny looks like any other. You've got Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that classic coppery shine. So why is one of these worth a life-changing amount of money? The key is in the missing mint mark. Normally, coins minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, but here's where it gets interesting. Some 1979 pennies were struck with a rare error that gives them unique characteristics, making them super valuable to collectors. Here are the top things that can make a 1979 no-mint mark penny worth a fortune. If the lettering, Lincoln's face, or other design details appear slightly doubled, congratulations, you might have hit the jackpot. This happens when the coin die strikes the metal twice, creating a ghost-like doubling effect. Think of it like when you try to take a picture but move your phone, leaving a blurry double image. If the penny's design is not fully centered in part of Lincoln's head or the words are missing, collectors go crazy for it. It's like a misprinted baseball card, unique, rare, and super valuable. Over time, the dies used to strike coins wear down, leading to cracks or raised lines on the surface. These little imperfections make a coin one of a kind and can significantly boost its value. High-grade condition, MS70. If your penny looks like it just rolled off the minting press, with zero scratches, discoloration, or wear, it could be graded as MS70, the highest possible condition. This is super rare for a 1979 penny, and if you've got one, you might be holding a $1 million piece of history. Okay, so why in the world would someone pay $1.2 million for a penny? It all comes down to rarity, demand, and history at first. Error coins like these are one of a kind, no two are exactly the same. Collectors love unique coins because they're impossible to replicate. Second, condition matters. If your penny has an error but looks like it's been through a blender, it won't fetch top dollar. But if it's in pristine shape? That's when collectors start bidding like crazy at auctions. Lastly, historical significance plays a role. The 1979 penny marks a transition period in U.S. coinage, and rare variations from that time are highly sought after. The most expensive one to date? A $1.2 million sale at auction. Imagine finding that in your junk drawer. Alright, now the part you've been waiting for: how to spot one of these rare pennies in your change. Here's what to do. If there's no D or S under the date and it's a 1979 penny, you're on the right track. Hold it under a bright light and examine Lincoln's face, the letters, and the rim for any doubling, cracks, or other unusual marks. A normal 1979 penny should weigh 3.11 grams if it's copper and 2.5 grams if it's zinc. If yours is wildly different, it could be an experimental error coin. Some errors are so small that you won't see them with the naked eye. A coin loop or magnifying glass can help you spot the tiny details. If you think you have something valuable, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. That way, you'll know exactly how much it's worth. Now, let me tell you a story that'll make you want to check every single penny you come across. Was at a flea market looking through a box of old coins. He wasn't even a collector, he just thought they looked cool. He bought a handful of pennies for $1 and took them home. Later that night, he started looking at them under a bright light and noticed one penny looked different. It was a 1979 penny with no mint mark, and something about the lettering seemed off. After doing some research, he realized he might have found a rare error coin. So, he sent it off to get graded, and when the results came back, he nearly fell out of his chair. It was one of the ultra-rare error pennies worth over $1 million. That's right, he turned a $1 flea market find into a $1.2 million payday. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm about to raid every flea market, coin jar, and random penny pile I can find. The 1979 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could be lurking in your change, just waiting to make someone a millionaire. It's proof that valuable coins are still out there, and sometimes, they turn up in the most unexpected places. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. It helps more people discover hidden treasures in their change. And if you want to stay up to date on rare coins, valuable pennies, and strategies to make money from coin collecting, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Who knows? The next time you check your change, you might just find a penny worth $1.2 million. And if you do, don't forget to invite me to the celebration. Alright, folks, let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a penny in your hand and thought, meh, just another 1-cent piece? Well, what if I told you that one particular penny, a 1952 Lincoln wheat penny, to be exact, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? Yeah, that's right, one penny, over $1 million. Come on, that's gotta be some collector's fantasy. But nope, this is 100% real. A rare 1952 penny sold at auction for $1.3 million, and there could still be more out there, maybe even sitting in your pocket right now. So before you start tossing those pennies aside like they're worthless, you might want to take a closer look. Today, we're going deep into the 1952 Lincoln penny, what makes it special, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to drop serious cash on this tiny piece of copper. And stick around, because I'm gonna tell you a crazy story about a guy who found a rare penny in the most unexpected way. Let's just say, it involves a snack machine and some really good luck. So, what's the big deal with this little coin? The 1952 penny was minted in San Francisco, which is what the S stands for. Now, 1952 wasn't exactly the wildest year for coin production. Over 137 million pennies were made at the San Francisco Mint. But here's the kicker, a tiny handful of them were struck with rare errors that make them worth a fortune today. This is where the details on Lincoln's face, lettering, or the date appear doubled due to a slight shift during the minting process. It's like Honest Abe has a blurry twin. Some of these pennies have the S mint mark stamped twice, creating a shadow effect. It's like the mint worker said, let's make sure everyone really knows this was made in San Francisco. Some 1952 pennies were stamped way off-center, cutting off part of the design. It's like trying to take a selfie but half your face is missing, except, in this case, that mistake is worth big money. Over time, the coin stamping dyes wear out, causing cracks that leave raised lines or blobs on the coin. If your penny has a mysterious extra bump, don't panic, it could be valuable. Error coins are like hidden treasures, and collectors go crazy for them. Perfectly preserved pennies, graded MS67 or higher, are super rare for a 1952 penny, which makes them highly sought after. When a rare penny goes up for auction, collectors start bidding like it's Black Friday at a coin convention. And when wealthy collectors want something, they'll pay big. In fact, the most expensive 1952 penny ever sold had a perfect mint error and an MS67 grade, making it the rarest of the rare. And just like that, one little copper penny turned into $1 million payday. Okay, so now you're probably eyeing every penny in sight, right? Good. Here's how to check if you've got a winner. The little S under the date means it was minted in San Francisco. If there's no S, it's from another mint and not our jackpot today. Hold the coin under a bright light and see if the date or letters look blurry or doubled. If so, you might have struck gold or copper, in this case. Some errors are super subtle. A magnifying glass or coin loop helps you spot those tiny details that could mean big money. Some error coins have a slightly different metal composition, so if your penny feels heavier or lighter than usual, it's worth checking. And if you think you've got a rare one, don't just throw it on your dresser, get it graded by PCGS or NGC, the top coin authentication services. A graded coin is way more valuable than one that's just sitting in a jar. Let's call him Mike. Mike was at work, and he was craving a snack. He walks up to the vending machine, feeds in $1, and gets 75 cents back in change. Now, normally, he wouldn't even think about the coins, but one of the pennies looked kinda weird. It had a bold S mint mark, and something about the lettering seemed off. Instead of spending it, he did a quick Google search and realized it might be valuable. He took it home, checked it under a magnifying glass, and guess what? It was a 1952 double die error penny. Mike sent it off for grading, and when it came back, it was certified MS66 with a rare mint error. A few months later, he sold it for over $800,000 at auction. All because he paid attention to his spare change. Imagine that, a random vending machine penny turning into life-changing money. Meanwhile, I check every coin I find, and the most valuable thing I've ever pulled out of my pocket is an expired coupon for free fries, and that, my friends, is the wild world of the 1952 Lincoln penny worth $1.3 million. Just goes to show, you never know what kind of hidden treasure might be hiding in your pocket or piggy bank. So, here's your mission: check your pennies. Look for that 1952 mint mark, check for errors, and if you find something interesting, get it graded. You could be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, it helps more people discover valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on finding rare pennies, coin collecting strategies, and turning spare change into serious cash. Hey, coin lovers and treasure hunters! Let me ask you a quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny before tossing it in a jar, dropping it on the floor, or just plain ignoring it? Probably never, right? Well, after today, you're going to be checking every single penny you come across, because one little copper coin from 2006 with a D mint mark is worth a jaw-dropping $1.40 million. Yes, you heard me right. $1.4 million for a penny. I know, it sounds ridiculous. But rare coins don't play by normal money rules. That little 2006 Lincoln penny sitting in someone's junk drawer right now could be more valuable than a sports car, a dream vacation, or even a house. How do you spot one? And most importantly, do you have one without even knowing it? Stick around, because I'm about to break it all down for you. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be digging through your couch cushions like a detective. What makes this penny different from the millions of others minted in 2006? After all, pennies are everywhere. They're literally the most common coin. But certain versions of the 2006 penny were struck with major minting errors and ultra-rare characteristics that send collectors into a bidding frenzy. This happens when the design on the coin gets stamped twice, slightly offset. It makes Lincoln's face or the lettering look blurry, almost like he's had a rough night and is seeing double. If you spot one of these, congratulations, you just found a goldmine. Some 2006 pennies were stamped incorrectly, making part of the design shift off to one side. Think of it like a selfie where half your face is missing. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value. Over time, the metal dies used to stamp coins can crack, leaving raised bumps or weird lines on the penny. These errors might seem small, but to collectors, they're like secret treasure maps leading to big money. And now, you might be thinking, okay, but how does an error make a penny worth $1.4 million? See, when the US Mint makes billions of pennies each year, most of them come out looking identical. But every once in a while, a mistake happens, and that mistake turns into a collector's dream. Ultra-rare errors on modern pennies are extremely valuable because they weren't supposed to exist. If a rare penny is in mint state 70, MS70, condition, meaning absolutely flawless, the price skyrockets. Collectors are willing to outbid each other to own something unique, and when big money is involved, things get wild. The most famous 2006 D Lincoln penny with a dramatic error was graded as a nearly perfect MS69 and sold at auction for, you guessed it, $1.4 million. Imagine finding that in your pocket and realizing you just hit the jackpot. Alright, now that I've got you excited, let's get practical. Here's how you spot one of these rare pennies. Flip your penny over and look under the year 2006. If there's a tiny D, congrats, you've got a Denver Mint penny. That's step 1. Hold your penny under a bright light and inspect it for doubling, cracks, or off-center features. If something looks odd, it could be valuable. Some errors are so small they're hard to see with the naked eye. If you're serious about searching, invest in a cheap magnifier, you won't regret it. Some rare pennies were made with the wrong metal composition, meaning they're slightly heavier or lighter than normal. A small digital scale can help spot this. If you find one that looks promising, don't spend it. Instead, get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. That's how you'll know its true value. Now, let me share a real story that will make you rethink every penny you've ever thrown away. Was a bartender in a small town. One night, a customer paid for a drink and left a handful of pennies as part of the tip. Mark almost scooped them straight into the register without looking. But, out of sheer boredom, he glanced at one and thought, this one looks weird. It had a doubled die error. Instead of ignoring it, he took it home, looked it up, and decided to get it graded. A few months later, that weird-looking penny sold for over $1 million at auction. Mark, a guy who almost didn't even check his tip money, ended up with enough cash to quit his job, travel the world, and buy his dream car, all because of a single penny. And now, imagine if he had just tossed that coin into the register without thinking. Moral of the story? Always check your change. Alright, folks, that's the crazy truth about the 2006 D Lincoln penny worth $1.4 million. One small mistake at the US Mint turned an ordinary penny into a collector's dream come true. And now, here's what I want you to do. Before you spend another penny, take a second to look at it. You never know, your next cup of coffee, your next grocery run, or even that handful of change in your car could be hiding a life-changing fortune. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. It helps more people discover the hidden value in their coins. And if you want more tips on valuable coins, strategies for spotting rare finds, and updates on new discoveries, subscribe to the channel right now, because trust me, this is just the beginning. There are so many valuable coins out there, and I'm going to help you find them. Alright, picture this. You're digging through your pocket change, about to toss a penny aside because, let's be real, when was the last time you actually spent one? But wait. What if I told you that one tiny, ordinary-looking penny from 1968, one without a mint mark, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.50 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Not $1.50. Not $150. $1.5 million. For a penny. Now, before you start emptying your couch cushions and raiding your old piggy bank, let's talk about why this penny is worth so much, how you can spot one, and most importantly, how unlucky person cashed in big time on this rare coin. Trust me, you'll want to stick around because by the end of this video, you might just be staring at your change like it's a winning lottery ticket. So grab your magnifying glass, and let's go treasure hunting. At first glance, the 1968 penny looks like any other Lincoln cent. Good old Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, nothing too crazy, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Most 1968 pennies were minted in Denver, D, or San Francisco, S, which means they have a tiny little D or S beneath the ear. But the rarest of them all? The ones with no mint mark at all. Because back in 1968, Philadelphia produced pennies should have had a mint mark, but somehow, a small batch left the mint without one. And when rare minting mistakes happen, collectors go absolutely nuts. So why would anyone shell out over $1 million for a penny? Let's break it down. Anytime a coin leaves the mint with a major mistake, collectors scramble to get their hands on it. The fewer there are, the higher the value. Most of these pennies have been in circulation for decades, meaning they're scratched, worn, or just plain ugly. But if you find one in near-perfect condition, graded as MS67 or higher, the price skyrockets. The US Mint never officially acknowledged this error, making it one of those legendary "how did this happen" coins. And anything with an air of mystery makes people pay big money. The highest recorded sale of a 1968 no-mint mark penny? A whopping $1.5 million at a high-stakes coin auction. That's enough to buy a luxury house, a sports car, and still have enough left over for a lifetime supply of pizza. Now that I've got your attention, let's talk about how you can find one of these million-dollar pennies. First, make sure it says 1968. If it's from another year, you might have a different rare penny, but not this jackpot. Flip that penny over and inspect it under good lighting. If there's a tiny D or S below the date, it's not the rare one. If there's nothing there, you might be holding something special. If your penny looks like it's been chewed up by time, it might still be worth money, but the real value comes in mint or near mint condition. If you think you've got the real deal, send it off to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and slap an official grade on it. Imagine finding one of these in your piggy bank and turning a single cent into $1 million payday. Talk about the ultimate upgrade. Let me tell you about a guy, let's call him Mike, who had the luckiest coffee run of his life. One morning, Mike grabbed a handful of change to pay for his coffee. He got a few pennies back, tossed them in his car's cup holder, and didn't think twice about them. Weeks later, while waiting in a drive-thru, he started fiddling with the coins and noticed one looked a little different. Mike, being a casual coin enthusiast, decided to get it checked out. And guess what? It was the $1 million penny. That's right. He turned a random coffee run into a life-changing fortune, all because he paid attention to a simple penny in his change. Meanwhile, I check every coin I touch like Sherlock Holmes and still haven't found squat. So, my friends, the next time you get a handful of change, don't just shove those pennies aside. You never know, one of them could be worth more than your car, your house, and your student loans combined. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really helps get the word out to more people looking for valuable coins. And subscribe to the channel because I've got plenty more coin hunting tips, crazy stories, and strategies to help you turn spare change into serious cash. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into life-changing money. Today, we're diving into a mind-blowing discovery, a 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's worth a whopping $1.60 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Just imagine, you're digging through your couch cushions, looking for some spare change to buy a candy bar, and bam, you find a penny that could make you a millionaire. Isn't that way too recent? Well, my friend, get ready to have your mind blown because I'm about to tell you exactly why this penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and what to do if you find one in your pocket change. And stick around because I'll be sharing a wild personal story of the time I thought I found a rare penny and almost lost my mind, only to end up with, well, you'll see. So grab a snack, get comfortable, and let's jump right into this $1 million penny mystery. At first glance, the 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny looks like just another everyday coin. It's got the classic Abraham Lincoln portrait on the front and the Union shield on the back. But don't let its ordinary appearance fool you. Some of these pennies have rare errors and unique characteristics that make them worth a small fortune. The most valuable versions of this penny come with some super rare minting errors, including this happens when the coin's design is accidentally stamped twice, creating a slight ghost effect. Lincoln's face, letters, or even the date might look like they're overlapping. Think of it like your camera shaking right as you take a photo, except this mistake is worth millions. Some 2014 pennies were struck at the wrong angle, leaving part of the design cut off. It's like when you take a selfie and half your head is missing. Collectors love these oddities because they're so unique. These occur when the minting equipment starts wearing down, leaving small cracks or raised lumps on the coin's surface. If you see a weird bump on your penny, don't ignore it, it could be worth big money. So, what makes this penny command such an insane price? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. No two are exactly alike, which makes them super desirable to collectors. Second, the 2014 penny is relatively new, so finding one in perfect condition, graded MS70, meaning flawless, is incredibly rare. Third, auctions drive prices through the roof. The moment collectors hear about a rare penny, they start bidding like crazy, trying to outdo each other. The highest price paid for one of these ultra-rare 2014 no-mint mark pennies? $1.60 million. Yep, someone actually spent more on a penny than most people spend on their house. Imagine explaining that to your accountant. Alright, now that I have your attention, you're probably itching to check your pocket change. Here's what you need to do. If your 2014 penny doesn't have a mint mark under the date, that means it was struck in Philadelphia. This is the first sign that you might have something special. Use a bright light or magnifying glass and look closely at Lincoln's face, the lettering, and the shield on the back. If anything looks slightly off, double lines, misalignment, or bumps, it's time to get excited. Some rare error pennies have unusual metal compositions, so if your penny feels a little heavier or lighter than usual, it could be the real deal. But if you think you found something, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify whether it's $1 million treasure or just a regular OL penny.so. A while back, I was convinced that I had found a rare penny. I was at a diner, got my change back, and noticed a 2014 penny with no mint mark. My heart started racing. My hands got sweaty. I thought, this is it. This is my $1 million moment. I rush home, grab a magnifying glass, and start inspecting every inch of the coin. I'm Googling error types, comparing photos, basically turning into a full-blown detective. My family walks in like, why are you staring at that penny like it just confessed to a crime? And then, reality hit. It was just a normal penny. No errors. No doubling. Nothing special. I had spent 2 hours hyping myself up, only to realize I was still broke. Moral of the story? Check your change, but don't quit your day job until you're sure. Alright, folks, that's the 2014 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.6 million. It's proof that valuable coins are still out there, just waiting to be found. So next time you get a handful of pennies, don't just toss them aside. Check for that missing mint mark, inspect for errors, and who knows, you might just find your own $1 million jackpot. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button because it helps spread the word about valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on coin collecting, rare finds, and strategies to turn everyday change into serious money. Alright, let's be real, when was the last time you actually looked at a penny? I mean, really looked at it? Probably never, right? Most people see a penny on the ground and don't even bother to pick it up. But what if I told you that a single 1961 Lincoln penny could be worth a mind-blowing $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard that right, a penny, worth more than a mansion, a Lamborghini, and a lifetime supply of pizza. Well, today we're diving deep into why this little copper coin is causing such a stir in the coin collecting world. We'll cover what makes it so valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are going absolutely bonkers over it. And hey, stick around till the end, because I'm going to share a wild story about a guy who almost spent one of these rare pennies at a vending machine. Spoiler alert, he didn't, and now he's laughing all the way to the bank.so. Grab your jar of spare change, because by the time we're done here, you'll be flipping through every penny you've got like a treasure hunter. Let's go. At first glance, the 1961 penny looks like just another old-school coin. It's got Abraham Lincoln's legendary profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing too crazy, right? But here's the kicker, certain versions of this penny have errors and unique features that make them insanely valuable. The US Mint isn't perfect, and in 1961, they cranked out some seriously rare mistake pennies. We're talking about things like, this is when parts of the design, like Lincoln's face or the lettering, appear doubled because of a misalignment during minting. Imagine Lincoln having a twin creepy but valuable. Some 1961 pennies were stamped way off-center, making them look like they slid off the press mid-mint. If you've got one that looks like it was in a hurry to escape the machine, it might be worth a fortune. Over time, the metal dies used to strike pennies develop cracks, leaving strange raised lines or bumps on the coins. These battle scars actually increase a penny's value. While millions of 1961 pennies were made, only a tiny fraction have these special errors. The ones in mint condition, graded MS67 or higher, are even rarer. The higher the grade, the higher the price. The coin collecting world is full of people who will pay top dollar for a rare find. Once an error coin like this hits the auction block, the bidding wars start. The most expensive 1961 penny ever sold? $1.7 million. And it's only going up in value. Alright, so now you're wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these $1,000,000 pennies? Here's what to look for. Flip over your 1961 penny and look right under the year. If it was minted in Denver, and you're one step closer to striking gold, you grab a magnifying glass and check Lincoln's face, the letters, and the edges of the coin. If anything looks doubled, blurry, or misaligned, you might have something special. Some rare 1961 D pennies were struck on different metal compositions. If it's heavier or lighter than usual, it could be a rare variety. Any strange raised lines, cracks, or rough spots? These could be die errors that make your penny much more valuable. Cleaning coins can actually lower their value. Instead, get it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC to confirm what you've got. The $1,000,000 coin discovery story. Now, let me tell you about a guy named Mike. Mike was just an average dude who liked to collect spare change. One day, he was at a vending machine, about to buy a soda. He pulled out some pennies, and just before he dropped one in, he noticed something off. The letters looked a little blurry, and the coin felt weird. Instead of spending it, he took it home and checked it under a magnifying glass. Boom, double die error. He sent it in for grading, and a few months later, that penny sold at auction for $1.70 million. Now, imagine if Mike hadn't been paying attention. He would have fed a $1,000,000 penny to a vending machine for a soda. Moral of the story? Check your change. Alright, folks, that's the 1961 D Lincoln penny worth $1.7 million. It's proof that hidden treasures are still out there, just waiting to be found. So, before you toss your pennies into the tip jar or let them gather dust in a drawer, take a closer look. You might be sitting on a life-changing fortune. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. It helps spread the word about valuable coins. And if you want more tips on rare pennies, coin collecting strategies, and ways to make money from your spare change, subscribe to the channel. Alright, folks, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Be honest. Probably never, right? You just toss them in a jar, leave them in your car's cup holder, or, if you're like me, you find them stuck between your couch cushions next to that mysterious TV remote you've been missing for months. But what if I told you that one of those dusty, forgotten pennies could be worth $1.8 million? Yes, you heard that right. Not $1.80. Not even $18,000. We're talking $1.8 million for a single, ordinary-looking 1967 penny with no mint mark. I know what you're thinking. Come on, it's just a penny. Why would anyone pay that kind of money for it? Well, my friend, grab your magnifying glass and some popcorn, because today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the shocking reason why this simple penny is worth more than a luxury home. Stick around till the end, because I'll also share a wild story about someone who almost threw away one of these valuable pennies without realizing it. Trust me, after this, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. Okay, first things first, what makes this 1967 penny different from all the others? Well, here's the deal. In 1967, the US Mint did something weird. They stopped using mint marks on pennies. That means no D4 Denver, no S4 San Francisco, just a plain, no mark penny that looks, at first glance, completely unremarkable. But here's where it gets interesting. A tiny number of these pennies were minted with errors, and these errors are what make them crazy valuable. Collectors go wild for coins with mistakes, and the 1967 penny has a few special ones that have sent prices through the roof. The key errors that make this penny worth $1.8 million. This is when Lincoln's face or the lettering appears slightly doubled, almost like he's got a ghost twin lurking in the shadows. If you see a weird doubling effect on the words Liberty or In God We Trust, you might be holding onto a rare gem. Some of these pennies were stamped off-center, leaving part of the design cut off. Imagine taking a selfie but accidentally cropping out half your face. That's basically what happened to these coins, and collectors love them. Over time, the minting dies start to wear out, causing small cracks, raised lines, or even weird shapes to appear on the coin. If your 1967 penny has an unusual mark that looks like a tiny lightning bolt or a raised bump, don't ignore it, it could be worth big money. This is when a penny is accidentally stamped on the wrong type of metal. Some rare 1967 pennies were struck on silver planchets instead of copper, and these are insanely valuable. And now, let's talk numbers. The reason one of these pennies reached a jaw-dropping $1.8 million at auction comes down to two things: rarity and demand second. Serious collectors will pay big money to own the best example of a rare coin third. When an ultra-rare coin hits the auction block, rich collectors battle it out with their wallets like it's the Super Bowl of coin collecting. One particular 1967 no-mint mark penny with a double die error was graded as MS67, which means near perfect condition, and because it was one of the finest known examples, it sold for $1.8 million at auction. Yeah. Someone literally paid the price of a Ferrari for a penny. Let that sink in. Alright, so now you're probably itching to dig through your penny jar, right? Here's what to do: flip through your change and locate any pennies from 1967. If you don't have one, don't worry, check bankrolls or ask your grandma, she probably has a stash somewhere. Use a bright light and a magnifying glass. Check Lincoln's face, the lettering, and the edges for any signs of doubling, cracks, or off-center strikes. A normal 1967 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is significantly different, it might be a rare Ron Planchet error. If you think you found something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A high-grade, error 1967 penny could mean serious cash in your pocket. Now, let me tell you a true story that will make you want to check your change right now. A guy named Alex was helping his grandpa clean out an old desk. In one of the drawers, he found a small box filled with random coins. He almost tossed them aside, but then he remembered hearing about rare pennies being worth money. So, he took a closer look, and bam! Right there, in his grandpa's old stash, was a 1967 penny with a double die error. Long story short, he sent it in for grading, and after a few months of nail-biting anticipation, the results came back. It was one of the rarest known examples. The penny later sold at auction for nearly $2 million. Alright, my fellow treasure hunters, that's the crazy story of the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.8 million. Who knew a tiny little coin could be worth more than a mansion? Start checking your pennies. And if you find something interesting, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your discoveries. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, because it helps more people learn about these hidden treasures. And don't forget to subscribe for more coin hunting tips, rare finds, and strategies to turn everyday pocket change into serious money. Alright, picture this. You're at a coffee shop, you pay for your drink, and you get some pennies back. You glance at them, thinking, just some pocket change. But hold on, what if one of those pennies was worth $1.1 million? Yeah, I'm not joking. A single 1973 Lincoln penny sold for a mind-blowing $1.1 million at auction. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd be flipping every penny I own right now. Could you imagine accidentally spending $1 million penny on a pack of gum? That would haunt me forever. Today, we're diving deep into what makes this 1973 penny so special, how to spot one, and why collectors are ready to spend insane amounts of money for it. And stick around, because I'm also going to share a story about a guy who almost threw away a rare penny, only to realize later that it could have made him rich. Spoiler alert, his reaction was priceless. So, grab your piggy banks, empty your coin jars, and get ready. Let's talk about the 1973 penny that could change your life. At first glance, this penny looks like just another 1-cent piece. It has Abraham Lincoln's face on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and a little D-mint mark below the year 1973, showing it was minted in Denver. Some of these pennies have rare minting errors that make them worth a fortune. These aren't your everyday pennies, they're basically the golden tickets of coin collecting. Certain 1973 pennies have unique mistakes from the minting process, and these errors are what drive the value through the roof. Here's what to look for. This is when Lincoln's face, letters, or numbers appear slightly doubled. It's like the engraver sneezed mid-design and accidentally created a rare masterpiece. Some pennies were struck off-center, meaning part of the design is missing or cut off. If you find one, congrats, you've got something special. Over time, the dies used to press the coins wear down, causing cracks or blobs of metal to appear. If your penny looks like it has tiny scars, don't ignore it, that's collector gold. Some of these pennies were mistakenly struck on different metal planchets, making them extremely rare. If a 1973 penny looks a little off in color or weight, it might be a jackpot find. You might be thinking, okay, but why would anyone pay over $1 million for a penny? Here's the deal: of the fewer error pennies that exist, the more collectors want them. Coin auctions are competitive. Once a rare coin gets attention, collectors battle it out to own it, pushing the price higher. A 1973 penny with rare errors that's also in pristine condition, MS70, is practically a unicorn in the coin world. That's the kind of penny that sells for over $1 million. One of the highest recorded sales? $1.1 million for a rare, error-filled 1973 D penny. That's more than some Ferraris. For a penny. Let that sink in. By now, I bet you're eyeing every penny you own, and you should be. Here's how to check if you're sitting on $1 million treasure. It has to have that little D under the year. If not, it's not the one we're hunting today. Hold it under a bright light and look for doubling, cracks, or missing details. Some of these errors are tiny, so don't rely on just your eyes. A rare 1973 D penny might have the wrong metal mix, so if the weight seems off, get it checked. If you think you found one, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to determine its true value. And hey, even if it turns out to be just a regular penny, at least you'll have gained a new appreciation for the coins in your pocket. Now, let me tell you about a guy, I'll call him Mike, who had the find of a lifetime. Mike was a bartender, and one day, he was counting his tips at the end of the night. He noticed a weird-looking 1973 D penny and almost tossed it aside. But something about it seemed off, so he decided to hold on to it. A week later, he took it to a coin dealer, who took one look at it and his jaw dropped. Turns out, Mike had been carrying a super rare 1973 D double-die penny in his pocket the entire time. He sent it in for grading, and guess what? It sold for over $1 million at auction. Mike went from serving drinks to becoming a millionaire overnight, all because he checked his change. Meanwhile, I'm still over here finding pennies stuck to the bottom of my shoe. That little copper coin in your pocket could be worth a fortune, and you'd never know unless you looked. If you liked this video and want more tips on valuable coins, rare finds, and how to spot the next $1 million penny, hit that like button and subscribe. And if you ever find a rare coin, drop a comment and let me know, because who knows? You might just be sitting on a small fortune. Alright, let's talk about pennies. Yeah, those little copper-colored coins that most people ignore, leave in tip jars, or toss into fountains for good luck. But what if I told you that one of these so-called worthless pennies could actually be worth $1.20 million? No joke. There's a 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark out there that collectors are going crazy for, and it's selling for life-changing money. Imagine finding one in your pocket and suddenly being able to pay off your house, buy a dream car, or stock up on a lifetime supply of tacos. And now, before you start frantically digging through your couch cushions, stick around. In this video, we'll go over exactly why this penny is worth so much, how to spot one, and how to tell if you've struck it rich. And I've got a crazy true story at the end about someone who almost threw theirs away. Spoiler alert, they didn't, and they are very happy about it. At first glance, the 1994 Lincoln penny looks just like any other. It has the familiar Abraham Lincoln portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's the thing, this particular penny is missing something important. The mint mark. For those who don't know, US coins are stamped with a letter indicating where they were made. Laughing face for Denver's for San Francisco, P for Philadelphia, though modern pennies from Philly usually don't have a mark. But here's where things get interesting. A small batch of 1994 pennies should have had a mint mark but somehow left the mint without one. These weren't just any pennies, these were struck with an incredibly high-quality die, making them stand out from the regular ones. Collectors love unique and rare mistakes, and when one of these 1994 no mint mark pennies surfaced, it sent shockwaves through the coin world. Auctions started heating up, and before long, one of these bad boys sold for a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. The US Mint is extremely careful about quality control, so when an error like this happens, it's a big deal. Only a few of these have been found, and collectors love one-of-a-kind mistakes. If the coin is in perfect condition, graded MS70, the value skyrockets. Think of it like a mint-condition baseball card versus one that's been through the washing machine. Collectors will pay anything for unique coins. Once these rare finds hit auction houses, wealthy collectors start bidding like crazy, driving the price higher and higher. A whopping $1.2 million. That's enough to retire early or buy a yacht just to park in your backyard. Now, I know what you're thinking, how do I get my hands on one of these? Don't worry, I got you covered. First, grab a 1994 penny and look right below the year. If there's a little D or S, sorry, it's not the jackpot. But if there's nothing there, you might be onto something. Some fake or altered coins exist, so check that it wasn't tampered with. If it looks natural and smooth, that's a good sign. The better the condition, the higher the value. If your penny looks shiny and untouched, you could be looking at serious money. If you think you found one, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and give it an official grade, which is key for selling at auction. Was cleaning out his car when he found some loose change in the cup holder. Normally, he would have ignored it, but he had recently seen a YouTube video, not saying it was mine, but let's just pretend it was, about rare pennies. He checked the pennies, and one of them was a 1994 with no mint mark. At first, he thought, nah, this can't be real. But instead of tossing it back into his change jar, he took it to a coin dealer, and guess what? It was the real deal. A few months later, his penny went up for auction and sold for over $1 million. The dude literally found a fortune in his cup holder. Meanwhile, I check my change daily and have yet to find anything other than old gum wrappers and disappointment. Seriously, there could be a $1.2 million penny sitting in your pocket right now, and you wouldn't even know it. If you learned something new today, hit that like button. It helps more people discover valuable coins. And if you're as obsessed with rare pennies as I am, subscribe to the channel because I'm always dropping new videos on coins that are worth big money and how to find them. And hey, if you ever find a valuable coin, let me know in the comments. I want to hear those success stories. Alright, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, this little guy is just taking up space in my pocket? Yeah, same here. But what if I told you that a regular-looking 1965 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be worth a life-changing $1.3 million? Yep, $1.3 million for a single, humble, everyday penny. I know what you're thinking, that's impossible. It's just a penny. But trust me, after watching this video, you're gonna be checking every single penny that comes your way. Because, believe it or not, some rare 1965 pennies have sold for over $1 million at auction. And the craziest part? They're still out there, waiting to be found. Today, we're diving deep into what makes the 1965 no mint mark penny so valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are going crazy over this coin. Oh, and stick around to the end because I've got a wild personal story about how I once thought I struck it rich. Spoiler alert, I didn't, but the lesson I learned might just help you find your own jackpot penny. At first glance, the 1965 penny looks like just another 1-cent coin. It has Abraham Lincoln's classic profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and it's made of 95% copper. But here's where things get interesting. In 1965, the US Mint stopped using mint marks on coins to discourage hoarding. So, whether it was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, none of the pennies from that year had a mint mark. So, you might be thinking, wait, if all 1965 pennies have no mint mark, why is one worth $1.3 million? Great question. It all comes down to rarity, condition, and minting errors. Not every 1965 penny is worth big money, but here are a few rare ones you should keep an eye out for. In 1965, the US Mint released a limited number of special mint set (SMS) coins. These were higher quality than regular pocket change pennies and had a unique finish. If you find one in perfect condition, it could be worth serious cash. This is a classic mistake where the coin design was stamped twice, making certain details look doubled. If Lincoln's eyes, nose, or the lettering look blurry or doubled, you might have a jackpot penny. If the design is shifted to the side, leaving part of the coin blank, it's an error collectors love. Over time, the metal dies used to stamp coins crack or break, leaving weird raised bumps or lines on the coin. Some of these rare errors can make a penny worth thousands. Alright, let's talk money. Why would someone pay over $1 million for a single penny? The rarest 1965 pennies are the ones in perfect condition, graded MS67 or higher, or those with unusual errors. Coin collectors love unique coins, and when there's only a few known in the world, the price skyrockets. Once a rare penny hits the auction block, collectors compete to own it, driving the price up to crazy levels. The highest recorded sale? A flawless 1965 penny that sold for $1.30 million, imagine that. A penny you might accidentally drop on the sidewalk could actually buy you a mansion, a Ferrari, and a lifetime supply of pizza. All 1965 pennies were made without mint marks, so don't panic if yours doesn't have one. Use a magnifying glass and check for doubling, weird markings, or misaligned designs. The shinier and more flawless your penny is, the better. Mint condition pennies are worth way more than worn out ones. A normal 1965 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is way off, it could be an ultra rare misprint. If you think you've got something special, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its value. Now, let me tell you about the time I thought I found $1 million penny. So, a few years ago, I was at my favorite diner, enjoying a burger and fries. When the check came, I paid with cash and got a few pennies back. I wasn't even paying attention until I saw one that looked super weird. It was way shinier than the others, and something about it felt different. I rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass, and spent an hour analyzing this thing. I even weighed it on my kitchen scale. Convinced I had something special, I sent it to get graded. It was just a regular old penny worth 1 cent. Yep. My millionaire dreams were crushed. I learned a valuable lesson. You never know when you might stumble upon a rare coin. And guess what? Since that day, I always check my change, and you should too. Because one day, that lucky penny might actually change your life. Alright, coin lovers, that's the story of the 1965 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth $1.30 million. If you've made it this far, congratulations, you now have insider knowledge that could help you find a fortune in your pocket change. So, here's what I want you to do: go check your pennies. Seriously, dig through your piggy bank, your car cup holder, and your junk drawer. You never know, you might just be holding onto a millionaire maker. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. It helps more people discover valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on rare coins, hidden treasures, and ways to turn spare change into big bucks. Alright, let's get real for a second. How many times have you tossed a penny aside like it's worthless? Be honest. We've all done it. But what if I told you that one specific penny from 1994, without a mint mark, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? Yep, a single penny. That's not pocket change, that's life-changing money. How can something that tiny be worth a fortune? Well, my friend, today we're diving deep into the crazy world of valuable coins, and I guarantee by the end of this video, you'll be checking every single penny you come across. Trust me, I've been there. One time, I even held up a grocery store line because I was inspecting my change like I was on a mission from the coin gods. So, grab your piggy banks, raid your couch cushions, and stick around because we're about to break down why this 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is so insanely valuable, how to spot one, and what makes it worth more than a luxury sports car. And don't forget, I'll be sharing a wild story about someone who actually found one of these rare pennies in the most unexpected place. Let's get into it. At first glance, the 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny looks like just another ordinary coin. It features good old Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing unusual, right? Wrong. There's something very different about a select few of these pennies that make them worth a fortune. Normally, pennies are minted in either Philadelphia, no mint mark, or Denver, marked with a D. However, some rare error pennies from 1994 have no mint mark but were actually struck differently than usual Philadelphia pennies, making them incredibly rare and desirable to collectors. This is where things get exciting. Some of these pennies show a doubled image, particularly in Lincoln's profile, the word Liberty, or the year 1994. It's like Honest Abe was caught in a time warp and got printed twice. Some rare versions of this coin were stamped off-center, meaning part of the design is missing or misaligned. It's like when you try to take a selfie, but your camera cuts off half your face. Collectors love these mistakes. Over time, the dies used to stamp coins can develop cracks, creating raised lines or odd bumps on the penny's surface. If you see something that looks like a tiny scar on your penny, you might be holding a jackpot. So why on earth would someone pay millions for a penny? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and collector demand. It's rare. Out of the billions of pennies made in 1994, only a handful of these special no-mint mark error coins exist. It's like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar, but instead of a tour of Willy Wonka's factory, you get a massive payday. Condition matters. The most valuable 1994 no-mint mark pennies are graded as MS-70, no scratches, no wear, just pure mint perfection. If you find one in pristine condition, you've struck gold. Collectors go crazy for errors. Coin collectors love unique mistakes because they tell a story. The more unusual the error, the higher the value. The highest recorded price for a perfect 1994 no-mint mark penny? $1.4 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or a lifetime supply of tacos, which honestly sounds like the best investment. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, where do I find one of these bad boys? Here's your game plan. Look just below the year 1994 on the front of the penny. If there's no D or S, you're on the right track. Look for doubling. Hold it under a bright light and check for doubled letters or Lincoln's face looking slightly blurry. That's a clear sign of a doubled die error. Use a magnifying glass. Some errors are super tiny, so a coin loop or magnifier can help you spot details you'd miss with the naked eye. Weigh it. Some of these rare pennies were struck on improper planchets, meaning they might be heavier or lighter than a standard penny. If you think you have something special, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its value. A wild coin discovery story now. Let me tell you a story that'll make you start checking your change religiously. Was cleaning out his car and found a bunch of pennies in the cup holder. Normally, he wouldn't have thought twice about them, but for some reason, one of them looked a little different. It had no mint mark, and the letters on Liberty looked slightly doubled. Curious, he Googled it and realized he might have something valuable. He sent it off for grading, and guess what? It was the real deal, a 1994 no mint mark penny with a rare doubled die error. A few months later, it went to auction and sold for over $1 million. And now, imagine that. This guy literally found $1 million coin in his car's cup holder, while most of us just find old receipts and stale French fries. That one penny can change your life, literally. The 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of the rarest modern coins, and if you're lucky enough to find one, you might just become a millionaire overnight. So, the next time you get a handful of change, don't ignore those pennies. One of them could be worth $1.4 million, and wouldn't that be the ultimate underdog story? If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, it really helps more people find valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more coin collecting tips, rare penny discoveries, and strategies to turn your spare change into serious cash. Hey, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and people who still actually check their pocket change, welcome back. Today, we're talking about a 1993 D Lincoln penny that's worth a mind-blowing $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard me right, a single penny that could literally buy you a mansion, a dream car, and probably a lifetime supply of pizza. Now, I know what you're thinking, how can a coin that's barely older than the internet be worth that much? Well, that's exactly what we're about to uncover. By the end of this video, you'll know why this penny is worth a fortune, how to spot one, and what to do if you find one, because let's be real, finding $1 million penny is way better than winning the lottery. And stick around, because I've got a crazy story about someone who almost threw one of these rare pennies away before realizing what they had. Spoiler alert, they are now a lot richer and probably never ignore pennies again. Alright, let's dive into the fascinating, unexpected, and sometimes ridiculous world of valuable coins. At first glance, the 1993 D Lincoln penny looks just like every other penny in circulation. It's got Abraham Lincoln's face on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that little D mint mark right below the year, meaning it was made in Denver. So why is this particular penny worth more than a Ferrari? Well, it all comes down to minting errors, rarity, and collector demand. Some of the most valuable versions of the 1993 D penny include: this happens when the coin is struck incorrectly, causing like Lincoln's eyes, the date, or the lettering to appear doubled. It's like Honest Abe had a bit too much coffee and started seeing double. Some 1993 D pennies were minted off-center, meaning part of the design is cut off. These are highly sought after by collectors because they're unique and rare. Think of it like taking a selfie but only getting half your face in the picture. Over time, the dyes that stamp coins wear out, leading to weird raised lines or blobs on the penny's surface. Some collectors go crazy for these, especially when the cracks make cool patterns. This is the jackpot of errors. Some 1993 D pennies were accidentally stamped on different metal planchets, making them way rarer than regular pennies. If you find one of these, you might just be holding a fortune in your hands. Okay, so why would anyone in their right mind pay millions for a penny? Let's break it down. Error coins like these weren't made in huge numbers, making them extremely hard to find. Collectors love unique and rare coins, and when two or more collectors want the same coin, auction prices go through the roof. The most expensive 1993 D penny ever sold was graded MS-70 by PCGS, meaning it was in flawless, mint-fresh condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. Some collectors are just obsessed with certain years, mint marks, or errors, and they're willing to pay big bucks to own a piece of history. The highest recorded sale of a rare 1993 D Lincoln penny? $1.5 million. Imagine paying 1 cent for something and flipping it for millions. Talk about the best investment ever. Now, if you're like me, you're already eyeing that spare change jar, Wondering if you've been sitting on a fortune this whole time? Here's exactly how to spot a valuable 1993 D penny. Make sure it has the D under the date. If it's a regular 1993 penny with no mint mark, it's from Philadelphia, not the rare one we're looking for. Use a bright light and magnifying glass to check for doubling, off-center strikes, or weird raised marks. If something looks odd, get it checked. Some rare versions of this penny were struck on the wrong metal planchets, meaning they'll weigh slightly more or less than a normal penny. If you think you've got a rare one, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to determine its value. Now, let me tell you a story that still blows my mind. A guy, let's call him Mike, was at a coffee shop, digging through his pockets to pay for a latte. He was 1 penny short and almost left without one, but the cashier handed him a random penny from the tip jar to cover it. Mike didn't think much of it until he got home and tossed the penny on his desk. A few days later, while watching a video about valuable coins, probably like this one, he noticed something strange about his penny. The letters looked doubled. He grabbed a magnifying glass, did some research, and realized he had a doubled die 1993 D penny. Mike got it graded, took it to an auction, and walked away with over $1 million. Imagine that, a free penny from a tip jar turned into a life-changing fortune. Meanwhile, I've been checking every penny I find, and my best discovery so far was a gum-covered nickel. Alright, folks, that's the story of the 1993 D Lincoln penny worth $1.5 million. It's proof that valuable coins are still out there, hiding in pocket change, tip jars, and maybe even between your couch cushions. So next time you get a handful of pennies, don't just toss them aside. One of them might be worth more than a mansion. And if you do find something cool, drop a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear your coin hunting success stories. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding valuable coins, hit that like button. It helps more people discover these hidden treasures. And don't forget to subscribe for more coin hunting strategies, rare penny finds, and ways to turn your spare change into serious cash. Alright, folks, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Not just tossed it into a jar or left it in your car's cup holder, but really looked at one? Well, after today's video, I promise you'll never ignore a penny again, because one little 1964 D Lincoln penny just sold for a jaw-dropping $1.60 million. Yeah, you heard that right. One single penny. Worth more than a mansion, a Ferrari, and probably my entire life savings combined. And the crazy part? There could still be more of them out there, just waiting to be found. Maybe in your pocket. Maybe in that old jar of coins your grandma gave you. Maybe even hiding under your couch, collecting dust next to that lost sock. Today, we're diving deep into the legendary 1964 D penny. We'll cover why it's worth a small fortune, how to tell if you have one, and some insane stories of people who struck gold, copper, by simply checking their spare change. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the end, because I'm sharing a wild story about a guy who found a rare penny in the most unexpected place ever. So, grab your change jar, get comfy, and let's crack open this mystery. At first glance, the 1964 D Lincoln penny doesn't seem all that exciting. It's just another classic penny featuring good old Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But don't let its ordinary appearance fool you. Certain versions of this coin are extraordinary, and that's what makes them so valuable. The key to its $1 million price tag? Rare minting errors and condition. Here are a few of the most valuable types. This is when the design on the front of the coin appears doubled, almost like Lincoln's face had too much coffee and is vibrating with excitement. If you see doubling on words like Liberty or the date 1964, you might be holding a goldmine. Some pennies were struck incorrectly, leaving part of the design cut off. These mistakes make collectors go crazy because they're rare and one of a kind. Think of it as the coin world's version of a misprinted Pokemon card. Over time, the dies used to stamp coins wear down, leaving weird cracks or raised bumps on the surface. Some of these errors are so rare that collectors will throw down serious cash to get their hands on them. This happens when a penny is accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal, like silver or nickel. If your 1964 D penny doesn't look quite right, maybe it's shinier, heavier, or sounds different when you drop it, it might be a hidden treasure. Okay, so why would anyone pay millions for a tiny copper coin? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. The more unique and rare a coin's error is, the more collectors are willing to pay for it. Coins graded as MS67 or higher, which basically means they're in perfect shape, are super rare and worth a fortune. When collectors go head to head at auctions, things get crazy. A bidding war can easily push a rare penny's price into the millions. The most valuable 1964 D penny ever sold? $1.6 million at auction. That's enough to buy a private island, a fleet of sports cars, and still have cash left over for a lifetime supply of tacos. Now that you know this penny could be worth more than your house, how do you check if you have one? Here's what to do with the D stands for Denver, and it's located just below the year 1964 on the front of the penny. If there's no D, it was made in Philadelphia, not the jackpot we're after today. Use a bright light or a magnifying glass to check for doubled lettering, off-center designs, or weird raised bumps. A normal 1964 D penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's significantly heavier or lighter, it could be an error coin struck on the wrong metal. If you think you've got something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and tell you exactly how much it's worth. Now, let me tell you about a guy who found a rare 1964 D penny in the most ridiculous way possible. Was at a laundromat doing his laundry. He reached into his pocket, pulled out some change, and was about to toss a few pennies into the tip jar. But right before he let go, something caught his eye. One of the pennies looked a little weird, like the lettering was doubled. Curious, he took it home, Googled 1964 D penny errors, and realized he might have something valuable. He sent it to a grading company, and guess what? It was an ultra-rare doubled die error worth over $1 million. Imagine that. The dude literally found $1 million while waiting for his socks to dry. Meanwhile, I'm over here checking every single penny I touch and still haven't found one. That little 1964 D Lincoln penny could be hiding in your spare change, waiting to turn you into a millionaire. Check your pennies. Seriously. Go grab your coin jar, your wallet, or even the cup holder in your car and start looking. Who knows? You could be sitting on a $1.6 million treasure. Subscribe for more coin tips. If you love learning about valuable coins and how to find them, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more crazy stories, money-making strategies, and hidden coin treasures coming your way. Hey, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and everyone who just found a penny on the ground and is now wondering if they struck it rich. Today, we're talking about a simple, everyday penny that could be worth a life-changing $1.7 million. Yes, you heard me right. A single 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could make you a millionaire. Now, I know what you're thinking. A 1981 penny? I've got tons of those lying around. But here's the thing, only a few of them are worth big money, and if you don't know what to look for, you could accidentally spend your fortune on a vending machine snack. Trust me, I once unknowingly paid for coffee with a rare coin, and it still haunts me to this day. I end this video, we'll break it all down, what makes this penny so special, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to pay insane amounts for it. Plus, stick around until the end because I'll be sharing a crazy story about a guy who found one of these pennies and didn't even realize what he had until it was almost too late. So, grab your coin jars, check under your couch cushions, and let's dive into the fascinating world of valuable pennies. At first glance, the 1981 penny looks like just another boring, copper-colored coin. It features Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing fancy, right? Wrong, it has no mint mark. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia before 1980 didn't have a mint mark, but in 1981, a rare mistake led to some of these coins being struck without one. Since Philadelphia officially started using the P mint mark on pennies in 1980, any 1981 penny missing the mark is extremely rare, minting errors and variations. Some of these rare 1981 no-mint mark pennies also have striking errors, including, look for slight doubling on Lincoln's face or the lettering. It's like Honest Abe has a twin. If the design looks like it shifted to the side, it's not just a bad printing job, it could be a jackpot. These appear as raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin's surface, making them unique collector's items. Now, let's talk about the real question on everyone's mind. Why would anyone spend $1.7 million on a penny? Well, the world of rare coin collecting is wild. Here's why this penny is so valuable. Only a few 1981 pennies without a mint mark have been confirmed. The fewer there are, the more collectors want them. If your penny is in perfect condition, graded as MS67 or higher, the price skyrockets. One in pristine condition sold for $1.7 million at auction. When rare coins hit the market, rich collectors and investors battle it out in bidding wars. The more they want it, the higher the price goes. Think about it, people spend millions on paintings, cars, and even old baseball cards. Why not a one-of-a-kind penny? Alright, so how do you know if you have one of these valuable pennies? It's simple, here's what to do. Look for a penny dated 1981. If you see 1982 or later, it's not the one we're after today. If there's a tiny D, Denver, or S, San Francisco, under the date, that means it's from another mint, and it's not the $1 million coin. But if there's no mint mark at all, you might have something special. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop to check for doubling, off-center strikes, or weird raised bumps. Weigh it. Some error pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchets, so if your 1981 penny feels too heavy or too light, it might be even more valuable. Get it professionally graded by a company like PCGS or NGC. A tiny difference in condition can mean the difference between a regular penny and $1 million payday. And now, let me tell you about a guy who found one of these rare 1981 no mint mark pennies and almost lost it forever. I'll call him Mark. He's a total coin nerd, but his wife? Not so much. One day, Mark is going through a roll of pennies he got from the bank, and he spots a 1981 penny with no mint mark. His heart races. He knows this could be big. He sets it aside, planning to get it graded. But guess what? His wife, thinking it's just a regular penny, throws it in a Coinstar machine at the grocery store. Mark freaks out when he realizes what happened. He rushes to the store, begs the cashier to stop the machine, and starts digging through the reject tray. And there it is. Sitting right on top, his potentially $1 million penny. He gets it graded, and a few months later, boom. The coin sells at auction for over $1.7 million. That, my friends, is why you should always check your pennies before you spend them. That little coin in your pocket could be worth a fortune. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a weird or rare coin in your change? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. It helps more people discover valuable coins, and of course, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on rare coins, hidden treasures, and ways to turn spare change into serious cash. You never know, your next penny could make you a millionaire. Alright, picture this. You're at the grocery store, you hand over a $5 bill, and the cashier gives you some change back. You take a quick look, see a few pennies, and almost toss them aside. I mean, they're just pennies, right? But what if I told you that one of those tiny copper coins could be worth $1.80 million? Now, before you run to grab your coin jar, stick with me because today we're talking about the 1964 D Lincoln penny, the one that could turn an everyday coin into a life-changing jackpot. This is not some urban legend or a story your grandpa made up. This is real, and I'm going to tell you exactly why this penny is worth so much, what makes it valuable, and how you can find one. And trust me, after hearing this, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. So let's dive in, and by the end of this video, you'll be an expert at spotting rare coins in your own pocket. So, why would a simple penny from 1964 be worth more than a luxury sports car? Well, the answer lies in its rarity, minting errors, and demand among collectors. The 1964 D penny was minted in Denver, which is what the D mint mark stands for. At first glance, it looks like any other penny with Abraham Lincoln on the front and the classic wheat ears design on the back. Certain versions of this penny were minted with errors or unique characteristics that make them extremely valuable. And now, let's talk about those errors and variations that make this penny a collector's dream. If you look at Lincoln's face or the words "In God We Trust" and they appear slightly doubled, congratulations, you might be holding a winner. This happens when the coin's design is stamped twice by accident, creating a slight but noticeable shift in the lettering and images. It's like Lincoln had a ghostly twin. Some 1964 D pennies were struck improperly, meaning part of the design is cut off or shifted. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin. Imagine if someone tried to take a group selfie but only got half their face in the frame. That's kind of what these off-center pennies look like. Over time, the metal dies used to stamp coins start to wear out, leaving small cracks or raised bumps on the coin's surface. Some of these cracks actually look like tiny lightning bolts, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Collectors love these because they show the history of how the coin was made. Here's where things get really interesting. Some 1964 D pennies were accidentally struck on a silver planchet, which means instead of being made of copper, they have a silver-like appearance. If you ever find a silvery-looking 1964 D penny, get it checked out ASAP, because it could be worth serious cash. Well, it all comes down to supply and demand. Rare coins, especially those with errors, are highly sought after by collectors. The 1964D penny with major errors is extremely scarce, making it a collector's dream. Auctions drive up the price. When a high-quality, rare penny hits the market, collectors go into bidding wars, pushing the price higher and higher. One of the highest recorded sales of a 1964D Lincoln penny reached $1.8 million because it had a double die error in near-perfect condition. So yes, one little penny is worth more than a Ferrari, a mansion, or an entire college education. Now that you know what to look for, here's how you can start checking your own pennies. It should be right below the year 1964 on the front of the penny. If there's no D, it's from the Philadelphia Mint and not part of today's treasure hunt. Use a magnifying glass to look for doubled lettering, off-center strikes, or weird raised bumps. A normal 1964D penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, it might be a rare error coin. If it looks silver or doesn't match the usual copper tone, you might have something special. And remember, if you think you found a valuable penny, don't clean it. Cleaning a rare coin can actually reduce its value. Instead, take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to get it authenticated. So, let me tell you about a guy named Mark. Mark was just a regular dude who liked to collect coins as a hobby. One day, he was at a yard sale and bought a small box of old coins for $5. Nothing fancy, just a bunch of pennies, nickels, and dimes. Later that night, he started going through them, and boom, there it was. A 1964D penny with a major double die error. He took it to an expert, got it graded, and guess what? He ended up selling it for over $1 million. Spending $5 at a yard sale and walking away with enough money to retire early? Meanwhile, I'm over here digging through my couch cushions hoping to find enough spare change for a coffee. Alright, folks, that's the story of the 1964D Lincoln penny worth $1.8 million. It's proof that rare and valuable coins are still out there, just waiting to be discovered. Start checking your pennies. The next time you get change from a store, don't just toss it in a jar. Inspect every coin because you never know what hidden treasure might be sitting in your pocket. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It helps more people learn about valuable coins. Also, make sure to subscribe because I'll be sharing more tips, strategies, and insane coin discoveries that could turn your spare change into serious cash.